Guys, welcome to another installment of Into the West. We're talking about keeping it up with what?
Keeping it up with the Kardashian
Keeping
dragons.
up.
Kardashians.
Oh no.
The
Kardashians.
Stop. Keeping up with the Kardashians.
This is a bad idea what you've got going on.
What are you talking about?
You got a truly
Fine.
pyramid over there. You're building a pyramid to the gods. Season 1, episode 7, Driftmark.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
This was a pretty cool episode. A lot going on.
A lot of hot
in
dragon
this
action.
episode. Third time's a charm for Damon, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. We start with like a memorial service.
Paul hates this episode, I'm sure,
What? Oh.
because it's filled with
Freaky
No,
Deaky. With the Freaky Deaky?
the freaky deaky happened on this episode.
Let's set the stage really quick of our
I feel like he just said it, but it's
our,
okay.
our
Yeah.
maesters. I've got Brother Marcus over here. I've got Lord Garlic Knot. I have Paul, the maester of hot dogs, and I've got
Uncle
I've got Truly
Geese.
Champion over here, the thirstiest, Lord Thirsty. Guys,
Oh my god.
this was a good episode, but again, a lot that happened during the course of this episode.
Yes.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. We have the memorial service for Lena, and let's go. Shane,
Heartbreaking.
what'd you think about this?
It's a heartbreaking episode about 18 times over just because what happens during it. The children fight, a dragon gets taken over. I mean, it is just brilliantly done from top to bottom. And it's probably one of the most exciting and riveting episodes of the season, hands down. Once a child loses an eye,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a rough one, man. But my favorite part in the episode is between Rhaenys and Corlys when they're discussing the future of their children and how they're going to be looked upon throughout history. And Rhaenys is just like, I know I'm the queen that never was. I wish you would drop this notion that I should be trying to fight for the throne. And but Corlys is like, history doesn't remember blood. It remembers names. As long as our kids' names are in there, it doesn't matter if they're legitimate. they're legitimately, But it's amazing. I'd love to know what everybody else thinks as well, because it really is a sad episode. It's sad, but it's exciting at the same time.
And it's a sexy episode.
That is also true. It does turn very hot and heavy, if you will,
Yeah,
What
between
was Shane's favorite part of the episode?
love down on the beach.
a sizzle reel down on the beach between.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
between Damon and Rhaenyra. Ooh, my.
Paul.
Paul, what did you think of this episode?
I like this episode. I think it's really good. I think my favorite part of the episode is God, I can't do anything sitting next to this guy. My favorite part of this episode is when Aemon steals.
Incest? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us? Tell us
No,
my
go
favorite part of the episode, Shane.
It's not the incest. No, go ahead.
No, it's when Aemon steals Vhagar and the whole eye cutting thing happens and so on and so forth. I think it's the best, like the drama has been the whole time in the first season. I think it's the most exciting. You get some hot dragon action, and that's what
yeah.
we're all here for.
Sure.
Scary.
And the performances are all phenomenal. And this was the episode I started to be like, because we talked about it towards the beginning of reviewing this. We're like, well, who's the one, like, if we could pinpoint, who's the good person in all of this? We were like, probably Alicent. This is around the time where I'm like, not anymore.
Not even her.
No,
Not
not
anymore.
even close.
No.
Not her.
I'm trying to cut out people's eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Marcus, when you were a little kid, did they ever tell you, don't knife fight in the house when fighting over dragon possession?
No.
Did any of that ever happen?
Did your mother ever say that?
Did your mom ever say that to you? No knife fighting when your cousin's trying to steal your dragon.
No, just
brother,
use
obviously.
fists.
Yeah.
Just fists.
What were your thoughts about this episode? you're relatively newer to watching these.
Right.
You've been like kind of binging through this first season.
It feels like the first 5 episodes were like a golden age because they were younger and all the characters, especially the girls, they were very, youthful and they were friends. They were real close. And then you see them as, the rest of their, surroundings start pulling at them. You start seeing them drift apart. And that was kind of, I guess, the beginning of the sadness, I never did trust Otto. I thought he was a little, he was a snake from the beginning. So I know, you just don't know. And now we have another Otto in, what's his name? The other guy who's kind of, I don't know, putting the queen in sort of this kind of quandary of what.
You talking about Laris? The Master of Secrets?
The guy with the foot thing?
Yeah.
The guy with the cane.
Yeah, Laris.
Yeah.
Who is now a lord.
Right.
He is now a lord over Harrenhal.
Yeah. So, that guy, so he's almost like another Otto at this point. But anyway, it's definitely, I would say this one is probably my least favorite episode just because of all the, how depressing it is tonally and everything. I get it. It has to be done. But it's, I think the kids should have just kept fighting until they killed each other. Honestly, they should have.
Kid fights.
It is crazy.
Because they all were throwing hands, even the girls. Yeah, let them just beat the hell out of each other. That would have been a great episode right there.
That would have made it less
Children
depressing.
violence, the best.
Well, it's already it's already depressing. So just let's end some stuff while we're at it. Let's end some lives.
Okay.
Rob, are you in favor of kids fighting to the death?
I'm not in favor of kids fighting.
However,
I do
to the death.
to the death.
Yeah,
No,
not just fighting.
That doesn't make it
Aegon
better.
but no.
think about
I
it.
think this episode was great. I think it really sets the tone, I think, for the rest of Dance of the Dragons. Like the rest of the history section of this point.
Sure, with Vhagar getting
Like all of it with
Grand Theft
that,
Auto.
but then also with the kids infighting, with everything that happened at the funeral. Like lines are being drawn at this point. Like this is the moment where whether it was Jace's knife or it was Alicent's knife that came out to go towards Luke, like that was the action that set those two, Rhaenyra and Alicent, fully apart. I think at this point. I
Black
love
versus
this.
green.
Yes, I loved this episode in season 1, and I was texting Frank about it. I was like, this actually has my favorite scene in the whole first season, and it's the whole funeral scene at the top when they're at the after party, quote unquote,
Right.
on like the little deck, and there's just so many different parties that are just like Damon's over in the corner smirking. Rhaenyra's like, "Where's my husband?" But there's my kids, and they need to go over there. And Alicent's like, "You guys need to do this," and the kids are crying, and Rhaenys and Corlys are trying to figure stuff out, and Corlys is telling this little boy like, "Hey, you're gonna take this over one
you're
day,"
the Lord
and
of
then
the
Viserys is like, "Hey, Emma's here," and everybody's like, "Emma's dead," and it's like it's just there's so much happening in that one scene that I think the first time, even the second time I watched it, the tensions were so high in that moment that I was like, it was an exciting episode, but it was also like a super stressful episode.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because that scene is what stressed me out the most.
Exactly.
It made me very
It's just-
depressed.
yeah,
Because
it's
you
totally
saw
crazy.
you saw 50 different stories
Exactly.
happening just
Yep.
without a word of dialogue at all. And it was
Wild.
it was crazy.
I mean, but Otto Hightower, when he's just telling Alicent, he's just going like, the fire eyes at the end of the episode. He's like, the fire I saw from you, Alicent. Like, you can win this. Like, I honestly think you can win this.
And that's all he cares about.
Yeah,
right?
and which is all he truly cares about.
It's also like, I
Well,
think
Alicent's dying.
it's super depressing too of seeing the difference between Alicent and Rhaenyra of the way they are is strictly because of their upbringing.
Yeah.
And because Viserys was a very loving father.
Yeah.
Like he loved her, he cared about her. However, he did not set her up well. So she is going into this not with the training, not with any of the combat experience, not with the strategic mindset, because he didn't train her, but yet he loved her. And then there's Otto, on the other hand, that literally sees every single person as a piece on a chessboard, including his daughter.
Absolutely.
And he's been doing that this whole time. And even in this moment where she is super distressed, he's like, no, you made the right move. Like, I set you up to make this move, and you made it. So good job.
I think the dynamic of the kids, just with Aegon
That's some of the
and
most interesting
Aemon
stuff,
is crazy as well, because Viserys, ultimately decided to make Rhaenyra, his rightful heir, he never really had the connection with Aegon, and he wasn't raising them. They're not going on hunts.
Right.
They're not doing like any bonding type of. They don't have any bonding type of experiences. So there is that distance between them, both physically and just relationally. They don't have the same type of relationship, and I think that he grew to trust in Rhaenyra's judgment a little bit, and you see it now kind of flushing out in the coming episodes for the first season and absolutely going into the second season, that they were never really taught how to be leaders. They never really were taught how to rule, and it's just going to keep playing out in a bad way. It's going to keep playing out that they're never really taught that way. And in the same sense with Rhaenyra's kids, they're growing up not really knowing their parentage. They're assuming it's obviously our dad's not this guy. But
a little bit, because you get that comment from Jace of like, no, I should be in Harrenhal. I should not be here mourning this woman that died. I should be mourning my father.
And that he's not. That he's like doesn't even want to go to his cousins to like express any kind of sorry. This is going on.
I know, but that's the thing with Viserys at the end where Naya's been taken. The kids are still angry at each other, and he's just like, "Let's just end this."
The amount of times he's like, "Guys, let's go to bed."
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I get it.
Like, man, he doesn't want to deal with it.
I want to watch the news and have my milk and go to sleep.
Milk of the poppy.
He's falling apart, and he just wants to end
Literally.
it completely.
But it also shows like the depravity of him as a ruler in the sense that he won't make decisions.
Yeah,
like he won't make any
hates it.
decisions.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to make decisions in his family, and he doesn't want to make decisions on the throne. Right. And sure, he's had 80 years of peace, but at the same time, like Rhaenyra's learned from that, and now her boys are seeing that. So like as we get into season 2, it's like, well, yeah, I can see where Rhaenyra is coming from and the decisions she's making, because that's what she grew up with. Like that's all she had.
Yeah, she seems very conflicted all the time, and in this season 2, and also Alicent she's just been a puppet to her father this whole time, so she's always worried, and it just comes out even at this point in season 1. She's just totally just worried constantly about the future and what's going to happen to her kid.
It eventually drives a wedge between her and her father too.
Yeah,
as time passes, because she thinks she knows best. She can never really show that she's agreed with Rhaenyra on anything.
Right.
They grew up as they were besties,
Friends.
And now it's like I can't even look. It's a really rough dynamic.
And that episode is really rough because, as Rob said, everything comes out. In that episode,
everything comes out.
Every part of it comes out.
So, are you through episode 7? Have you seen 8 yet?
I've not seen 8 yet.
Yeah. Just wait for this season to end, man. You're gonna be whoa. Oof. Yeah. It's great.
That's a great show.
Aemon taking Vhagar, also a great.
I think.
Yeah.
Important. Big.
Beautiful scene.
Again, that's
by
like,
the way.
And then it has implications later in the season, which
that scene is beautiful.
Really exciting.
When he hops on that dragon, that gigantic, scary dragon.
It's not like Pete's dragon.
Yeah, like
no.
Except not.
I think your opinion will change around. I don't know, episode 10 or something. I think the next episode has like the most shocking moment in the entire first season with homeboy.
Corliss's brother.
He let him keep his tongue.
That's right.
That was like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Jesus.
It's pretty good, Marcus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some good stuff.
I look forward to it.
But the acting is amazing. In this show, the acting, the script, everything is just absolutely amazing.
We're glad that we could have Rob come and hang out with us and talk about this. I know you're a big fan of House of Dragon and Game of Thrones. We're planning sometime down the road to do episode by episode of Game of Thrones. It's kind of ambitious, but we're
my wife and I are rewatching it right now.
All right,
we are only 3 episodes in.
Oh wow!
To the rewatch.
To the rewatch, yeah.
Okay, so maybe down the line.
How does it to you now? Just starting up again. How does it look to you? Like, how does everything feel like it should?
Has it aged well? I think that's what he's trying to ask you.
From the looks of it, or from everything that was in it?
Everything that was in it. Does it seem just as great as the first 3 times
and I
you
think,
probably watched?
I think even rewatching Driftmark, the more I rewatch the Game of Thrones stuff, the more I enjoy it because I know more.
Right.
So I think that's a huge piece of I know where it's going, and I'm catching pieces that I didn't catch the first time, or I'm catching connections that I didn't catch the
That's
first time.
how I feel about Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion
Exactly.
and Rings of Power and all that stuff. So
Exactly.
I can identify with
Because
that.
even with this episode of Driftmark, we see that conversation with Rhaenys and Corlys, and she's like, "You need to put our kids in your position of Aaron." He's like, "No, I can't do that. It's got to be blah blah blah." And then, I mean, the most recent episode of House of the Dragon, he has that conversation with Bela, and he's like, "This is yours if you want it." And it's like, I rewatched and I went, "Oh my gosh, like that's full circle. We just went full circle. This is great."
It's kind of weird. I
love
mean,
it when we go in a full
and then it's
circle.
something we could talk to Marcus about, like everybody's at the same place as far as what they've seen, is that how some of the episodes we're watching from season 2 that have just passed sort of mirror and make big reference points to the things that we're rewatching.
Yep.
How they kind of overlap,
line up.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
There really
man.
is so much in it, and
Yeah.
the world building that George R. R. Martin started, and that everybody's now carrying on with this is like it's wild.
It'd be nice if he could finish it, wouldn't it?
That would be
That'd be
lovely.
amazing.
I think he's up there personally. I think he's up there with Tolkien. I mean, the world of Lord of the
Sure.
Rings is amazing.
Yeah.
But this world of Westeros is also
Paul's
amazing.
gonna faint.
Fire and
No,
Blood.
no,
the
I-
book is 700 pages.
700 pages of straight history, man.
I 100
Wow.
I feel like I'm back in 8th grade.
I 100% agree. I think there's, as far as like grand fantasy writers of the 20th and 21st century, there's Tolkien, there's J.R. Martin, and there's everyone else.
Tom Clancy.
Right, Tom Clancy.
Clancy.
Yeah,
Ron Howard.
Tom
Yeah.
Clancy.
Oh wait a minute.
No.
Oh,
He's a
Is
director.
there any
Oh,
other?
he's a director.
Is there any other writers we can name?
I was gonna say I don't know if I can even think
Clive
of any.
Cussler.
We got to get out of here. I gotta get Marcus some pizza. He's
All
giving me
right.
the pizza look.
The pizza look.
come on, man.
Guys,
What?
have a great night.
He gives you that look.
Please
Hot D
do us a
action.
favor. Nice. Do us a favor, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe, will you? Give us a subscribe,
Give us a thumbs up.
a share, a thumbs up, all those things. We appreciate you so much. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Incest.
Next week to continue keeping up with the Targaryens.